Hello my friends and welcome back to The Wonder. This is a special episode where we're going to jump 5 years into the future, so that will be 2031. We're going to come back, we're going to see how the teams that we managed got on. So I'm going to retire this manager, I'm going to add another manager, we're going to simulate ahead in that. Before I do, let's just have a quick look. So Mersin does say Turkish Super League. I don't think they actually ever got to Turkish Super League. I removed the Turkish Super League virtually straight away actually after leaving Mersin because I didn't have any interest in really staying. They do actually have some players though. This guy was, but yeah, as you can see, you can't imagine him being in a Turkish Super League with that lad being their key player. So we're not going to focus on Mersin at all during this. Forfeit, I think they're now probably too far back. You know, they've been promoted and relegated since then. If we have a look, go back actually. Players, is there a single player there that I signed? No, I don't recognise any names anyway. So again, I'm going to say that's too far back. We're not. We'll have a quick look and see how Forfeit have got on, but I think any effect that I left on Forfeit is now past. Pogon results that they got relegated with us, of course, before we left. Don't think they ever quite got back in 5th, 10th, 3rd, 10th and 4th. So you know, they've been sort of mid-table promotion contenders, mid-table promotion contenders. Again, feels too far back for us to ever really touch on. Montrose, we were there for 6 months. Is it really relevant? You know, they did hold on into the championship for a little while, got relegated, got promoted again straight away. Again, if we have a look, is there any players left that we brought in that I can remember? Ross McCrory there, that's very interesting. Didn't expect to see that. He's my captain in my personal Rangers save that I uploaded, or will be uploading over the next couple of days. But again, not seen any names. That's one hell of a squad depth compared to, if you remember, my squad was tiny when I took over. That is a monster squad that they've got there now in the championship. So Hearts, how have Hearts got on since we took over? They've got one game left this season, so that's actually quite frustrating. When is this game? Sunday, right? Let's skim forward to tomorrow because that's actually a title decider. So we're not leaving Toulouse just yet because we need to see if Hearts do win the league or not, because you know, that's strange. Craig Levine's their manager now as well, which is interesting. This is how long this takes to load, by the way, as well. You know, I'm just going to decline that now because I'm leaving anyway. I don't even know what he was asking. I didn't even read it, if I'm honest with you. He's annoyed at something, and he's going to get even more annoyed that I've declined it now, so that's not ideal. I just kind of want to see how Hearts have got on since we left. The fact that I didn't realise I had one more game to play wasn't ideal on that one at all. So we're now skipping forward. You now see this is how slow this game processed for me, particularly for the past 2 or 3 seasons, which is a big reason why I decided I wasn't going to try and force out another season, because it's a big reason why the content hasn't been consistent. Should have probably dropped a few leagues a little while ago. Hibs drawn 0-0 to Celtic. Is that enough for Hearts to win the league? I wonder. So, what was he actually complaining about? Monthly about destroying an Atletico Madrid. Okay, so we'll go back to our job history. Hearts. They drew as well away to Rangers, so not enough to win the league. Finished second, a point above Rangers. Good to see 3 teams with 3 points there actually though. But we left here, then between here and here, so they've had a first and a second since then, which is fairly decent, and then another second of course. So they won the league the year we left. They've been second every year since. Zé Gomez still their key player. I will be keeping an eye on him during this spell. How did they get on in the Champions League? That's the only other thing I'm interested in just now. So, lost in the best place qualifiers and then into Europa League, qualified and got to the first knockout round where they got knocked out to Porto They still managed by Alex Neil. I'm curious. No, he's long gone. And Hearts, I believe, are now managed once again by Craig Levine, who replaced the manager who replaced me. Brought in Paul McGuinness with him, which is a pretty good assistant actually. But right now, I'm going to skip ahead to the 18th of May. Sorry, I'll go to the 1st of June, 30-31. That'll be 5 years into the future. And I will see you on the other side, and we'll review all these players. We'll have a look at all these, well, Hearts and Toulouse, and we'll review some of the key players of this series. I've split my save into two, so I've got a backup save of this. That if you want, at the end of the 10-year episode of this sort of special, I will go back to that save and see what jobs you could have been offered if we had left Toulouse or stayed with Toulouse. Let me know if you want to see that. But anyway, guys, I will see you in just a second. So just as I retired the manager to go and sim, I did the new manager in with no experience, so hopefully doesn't get offered too many jobs. These are the messages that came up. So the Don has decided to leave his post as Toulouse FC manager and retire from football. I'm actually a bit concerned that it actually says the Don. Bear in mind I had it nicknamed. Regardless, the highly respected manager leaves Toulouse FC in a knowledge that he's held in the highest regard by his fellow managers and also by the players whom he had tremendous rapport. The Don was born in that's a fake date of birth, so whatever. During his time with Le TFC, Don's team lifted the Coupe de la Ligue in 2025, finished runners-up in the league format in 2026. His first venture into management was Merzin Imadaru, probably butchering that name still, where he was appointed in June 2017. Between June 2018 and December 2020, Don also had brief spells with Forfar Athletic and Paul Gonzalez and Montrose. After leaving at Gable End, Don took charge at Hearts, where he stayed until December 2023. During his time with the Jambos, Don's team lifted the Ladbrokes Premiership in 2022 and 2023 and the Scottish Cup in 2023. He then moved on to become manager at Toulouse. Don's TFC team won the Coupe de la Ligue in 2025. He also earned recognition from the footballing community for his achievements. Scottish Football Writers Manager of the Year on 2 occasions, Scottish Players Manager of the Year, 3rd place, and won the league format Manager of the Season. And then we've got our sort of usual one where Don has decided to leave his position and retire from football. He has accumulated The team will now be looking for a new manager, and these are the favourites. So he looks good. You look pretty good as well. Looks like they'll be getting an upgrade. It's stat wise. He's the one that I'd be least concerned with. But anyway, I'm going to skip that 5 years ahead, and I'll catch you all on the other side of that. Welcome back, my friends, and I've had a quick look through. There's a couple of players that I had on my short list with Toulouse. I had an interest in. I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a look at, and curiosity took me. So I've had a quick look through. So I'm going to try and give you no spoilers as I go through. But the guys that were on my short list never played for any of the clubs, so you wouldn't have any affiliation from the Regens. You really wouldn't care, to be honest. The right back I mentioned went on to be world class. I mentioned him a couple of episodes of one that I wanted to sign that I couldn't afford. He actually got sold for 50 million a few years down the line, being one of the key guys I wanted to look at. But we're going to start looking at Hearts. Hearts is where I had sort of the most success, and it was also the team that I felt I left in a position to really go on and dominate Scottish football. I left at that time because I felt that was where I'd left them. I'm just actually going to have a quick look and see if they ever did upgrade their stadium, because that was a big reason for why I left. 25,000 is what they got up to. They really should have been pushing for more. Excuse me. This was the year that we finished off on. They lost the league on the last day of the season to Celtic, actually having a better goal difference, scoring the same, conceding less. Didn't pick up enough points, so 3 teams within 3 points. And it was actually the one with the sort of equal goal difference, but the worst goal difference that won it, ironically. So if we move on to the next year, Hearts won the league. And that shocked me when I seen that, because, yeah, they've won it on goal difference this year, but I'd expected when I looked at this, I was like, right, Hearts, Celtic are going to rebuild, and they're going to go from strength to strength, and they'll win it every year. And quite clearly we see here that isn't the case. Craig Levine got another title out of Hearts. 77 points, one of the lowest scoring leagues I remember seeing in all of this sort of save. But, you know, they hit 77 points, which is pretty good. Not as good as previous years. In fact, they lost the title on more in the previous year, but won it this time around. Then got back up to their heights, 87 points. Aberdeen getting 71. I'm actually just curious, did they actually make the Champions League this year? What year was that? That's 27-28, so senior squad. 27-28. Show filters, all competitions. I'm just going to filter it down to European. So no, that's still only enough for Europa League, so the coefficient had gone down by then, which is interesting. But you know, that was quite a resounding win. Celtic clearly off the pace, Rangers even further off the pace. Aberdeen picked up the pieces to get that. Sorry, it'd be the following season, wouldn't it? So never mind that. So yeah, they were in the Champions League, but they dropped out in the qualifiers to Ajax quite comfortably, and then dropped out at the group stage of the Europa League. Did get a tough group, to be fair. Olympiacos, Inter and AZ Alkmaar. Tough group for the Europa League standards anyway. So if we move on again, Celtic back to Champions League, revitalised themselves, won it by a point. Again, a big gap between Hearts and third place. Aberdeen falling right off the pace that year as well. And then Hearts win the league again, this time over 82, 10 points clear of Rangers, who then had a smaller gap to Celtic. But good, interesting to see the jump from Celtic on 85 down to 66. That's a big drop off for Celtic. I don't really know if there's a reason for that. I didn't look too much at that. And then the most recent year, Hearts with 88, Celtic back up to 80 points, Rangers in third. Rangers still struggling to recover from their financial issues. If we have a look, I just want to have a look first of all at managers. Craig Levine's been manager since I left, apart from that brief spell from Paulo Sousa, who took over from me. Craig Levine took over after that, and has won 4 league titles since then, which is pretty amazing actually. 3 cup wins to the go with that as well. Just curious, again, let's just filter down to all competitions, and just to European. I'm curious to see if they ever broke the Champions League. So we're going to go back to the year that I finished. So they got to the knockout stages that year, knockout stages of the Europa League after getting knocked out of the Champions League the following year. Champions League group stage picking up no wins. Champions League group stage picking up no wins. Although, they did pick up a win at home to Barcelona of all places. And then lost the knockout, which was enough to get them to the knockout stage. They picked up a draw against Barcelona. So they were undefeated to Barcelona in this group stage, which is very strange. But knocked out to Roma. Next year, Europa League, after falling out of the Champions League qualifiers, getting all the way to this last 16 before falling to an away loss to Sevilla. And then this year, Champions League group stage again, picking up just one solitary win away to Sporting Lisbon. So, you know, been decent for Hearts. Their transfer history is where I really want to look at though, and we're going to go back right to here. No, we're not. We're going to go back to here because this is where I left. I sold Jamie Baronas and Peter Pativ I bought. So from here on in is all AI's transfers. So a few guys I'm going to look at. So Linchaba, a guy who I signed with, highest of prospects, never really developed into anything. Did get 69 caps for South Africa at the age of 28, joining Fenerbahce. Played for Midtjylland, Red Bull Salzburg, Hamburg, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that team's name. But, you know, not been a great career for Linchaba. Fair to say I got that one wrong. Other names, let's have a look at other names. I'll have a look at them as they go out, which is probably the key. So, we'll move on. Actually, let's go, nope, back 1 year. The one that I really want to have a look at is Scott McKellar, actually. I don't remember seeing him going out. Looks like he never really developed into anything. You know, maybe having that spell in the lower leagues was too much for him. So if we go on another year, loans, Stuart Baird left. Here's a guy I had high prospects for, didn't again develop into much. Did have a spell with Partick Thistle, then went to Rangers and then Motherwell. You know, reasonable career. Doesn't look all that impressive though, compared to some of these guys. Frederik Arenk, if you remember him, he developed to be quite nice. Had 146 games for about 6 since leaving Hearts. Being a fairly solid goal scorer, 106 goals in 265 games. Will never money to 5.1 million in transfer fees, which I thought was quite disappointing. I wouldn't have even sold him for the price that they sold him for. Sulek, doesn't even let me click on him. I remember having promised for him. Milan Andrich, if you remember him, what a development he's had. He moved to Leverkusen fairly quickly after I left. His stats now are amazing, particularly his physicals. Other than how good he is in the air, the rest of these are absolutely outstanding. As a midfielder, he's pretty complete. 106 caps for Australia by the age of 30, worth £62 million with Leverkusen. You know, you could go wrong in not buying this guy, and he's probably been one of the stalwarts of my buys in this series that I've looked at. Kovacic I don't think was mine. Andrich I've just looked at. Hassan Bayar, I'm not going to look at him, he didn't have too much thing in the series. Ryan Hedges retired, so it's difficult to look at him in general. So Lumba, again, another guy, I think I bought him in to replace Cameron Burgess. He moved to Colin, I think it was. No, he moved to Brighton and then had a loan spell at Colin. You know, he's never kicked on and had a lot of games, but he's played for some big clubs, Brighton, not been the biggest, and Napoli. Looks fairly solid stat-wise, you know, £11 million value. Never got a cap for Portugal though, which is a highlight in itself. Tvetanov, again, didn't really develop, but played a number of games for Hearts before moving to Villa for £10 million. Again, fairly solid player in sort of a yo-yo championship premiership club. Despite his stats, pressing all the wrong buttons here. John Shooter went to Swansea. He retired at Swansea, played a long time for Hearts, so of course. And I'm trying to see anyone else that's of relevance. Nobody there. Got a cat scratching on the floor, so apologies if you can hear that, guys. If we go through this season, Adam McGuffey, remember him, we had him on loan, never developed into much. I mean, decent mentals, and that's the highlight here. Decent defensively, but not great going forward. Ross McShane, again, very good. He's actually very, very good. He ended up at Sporting Gijon, 1 cap for Scotland, which I think is criminal. Mentally not the best, physically acceptable, great finisher. His problem is his dribbling and his passing. That's what's let him down, really. Carter Vickers wasn't my signing, neither was Campo. Don't think Jokic was. He developed okay. He's ended up at Porto, had a few spells. 50 caps for Bosnia by the age of 28, valued at 4.9 million with Porto, but had spells in Switzerland and Portugal since then. No, I think he's a pretty decent signing. And again, none of my signings here, so moving on again. Darren Cowie, I'm going to click him now because I don't want to forget. He was a goalkeeper I had a lot of hope for. 1 cap for Scotland, but really never developed. I think it's a kind way to put that. He wasn't my signing. Harry Cochrane, he's an interesting one. Look at the regression on Harry Cochrane here. I mean, he's played for Celtic on loan and had a spell at Rangers. And he's 30, never been capped. And again, cat's fine. Apologise, guys. But you know, stat-wise, he really dropped off. And I looked at his injuries when I looked at him because I was shocked at that. But nothing ever came about it. Dabo Mabuni, my big money signing. I think he was the biggest signing I ever made, money-wise, in the series. He's worth 15 million at Copenhagen. But he was sold for 4.5 million, which I thought was amazing when I seen it. You know, 102 goals, 297 appearances, 42 assists, and 23 man of the matches. I played him on the left wing quite a lot, so his goal ratio at Hearts, particularly in the early couple of seasons, was never going to be that relevant. And it looks like they continued to do that. So that's fairly interesting, but I was disappointed to see him only go to Copenhagen, particularly for the money. He's worth so much more than that. Anyone else of relevance? Not really. A lot of the guys that I signed towards the end of my Heart spell, all the young lads, never developed into anything, which I was really disappointed about. Gary Finlayson, a guy I tried to sign so many times in the series, and only achieved it once. Sorry, twice, but I never managed him the first time. Went back to Poland. He's had a spell with Lech, where he's played 94 times. Again, stat-wise, physically pretty good. Defensively fairly good. Going forward, not that great. Just doesn't really suit my style very much. Z Gomez went back to Portugal for £5 million. Shambolic he went to on that little money. Favourite player is Hearts. Favourite person is me. Wants to return to form. But if you look at him, stat-wise, 1 and 2 striker again. Had another small move, but a great signing. You know, spent a number of years at Hearts, scored so many goals. Majority of his goals came when he played for Hearts. Majority of his appearances did as well, of course, but, you know, very good player. I actually miss him. Grant Young, surprised to see him not developing as much as he has. Mentally very good, physically pretty good. Technically was an issue. I'm actually looking at this and thinking, do you know what, I could have recreated him into a central defender and he might have actually had a better career. The benefit of hindsight, of course. He was there when I joined, of course. Moving on to this season, I don't think there was anyone in this season. Cameron Burgess, if you remember him, he returned to Hearts after I left in 28-29. Had a couple of spells, made 22 appearances before moving to Lazio after spells. We sold him to Gijon, had a spell in Young Boys, then Austria Wien, and back to Hearts and Lazio. But I don't recognise anyone there that would be of note to the series. And right at the end here, I think this is where Freddie Woodman leaves as the sort of last relevance to Hearts. He spent 307 games at Hearts, was there when we got there, was there when we left, was a great goalkeeper, absolute legend for me. Gone to Villa since, in the Premiership, had 8 appearances, conceded 16 goals. You know, that's not great. But it looked like Villa had been sort of that yo-yo club, as I mentioned earlier on. But, you know, very good career with Hearts, nonetheless. And 34 is coming off the end of his powers now. I'm going to switch to Toulouse, and I'll catch you for that in a split second, guys. Returning to Toulouse with manager history. Didn't do that with Hearts because, well, I did, but not directly. Craig Levein was their only manager, and that sort of made me think of it. So, we're replaced by Zoran Zekic, who lasted just under 2 years before being sacked. Did win a cup, the Trophy des Champions. That's like winning the Community Shield. Does it really count? Anyway, he was sacked, and Jose Vilca took over. He didn't win anything, and Pascal Robert took over. He actually won the Europa League, and this season. So that maybe is a bit of a spoiler. I didn't look at that. So we'll switch back, and this is the season we left. We finished second, of course, 2 points behind PSG, with the worst goal difference because they were better defensively than us. We bottled it. We really should have won this league with 3 or 4 games to spare, and really from February onwards, we were not a team that deserved to win the league. We continue on. The next season, the one where we got taken over. After we left, they finished 5th. PSG returned to stalwart form, getting 103 points. Toulouse actually only lost 13 points this year compared to the previous year, and I think even the year before that. And it was enough to drop them completely into 5th place out of the top 4. It's pretty much a sore one. If you move on again, they then fell off. They were back into mid-table mediocrity by the looks of things at this point, down in 10th place, 54 points. You know, I left them with a squad that really should have been able to knock on the door of competing for the league. Not necessarily competing with PSG and Monaco, but I'd expect them to be competing with the Rennes, the Marseilles, the Lyons for the rest of that, and maybe sell a player, bring another player in, and move up. Really didn't work out. Frustrating to see that, because at this point I felt Toulouse would be an established Champions League club. We move on, and they do get back in the Champions League. 4th place gets them 82 points, well behind Monaco, who were eventual winners, on 104 points. You know, it really highlights the point get tally of these leaders. Highlights how weak a season that season was. We didn't win the league. That league was up for grabs every single year. Since then, the kind of points tally we'd been getting is 3rd, maybe, but more likely 4th. And then we move on again. They drop back down to 6. European football seems to have hurt them quite a lot. I'd never had the squad depth with Toulouse, and that's maybe the one argument. I'd left Hearts with a squad depth, I didn't with Toulouse. And then if we move on again, 5th again. So they seem to be a sort of steady mid-table to European challenger, an Everton kind of team, if you like. We'll go to the transfer history, and we're going to skip all the way back. This is my last season, I think. Yeah, Aaron McGuffey was in on loan. So we move on 1. This was the lad I brought in. Doesn't look very good now. Played 89 times for Toulouse, however. So, and got 3 good years out of him. So it looks like he was a good signing for 18 million before moving away to Real Sociedad. Made a few other signings. Souza, an attacking midfielder. Obviously, he looks pretty good as well, actually. Worth £27 million now. That's been a find by that manager. Diego Simeone, he came in too. And he's not a half bad goalkeeper. I wish my scouts had told me about him actually, because he broke straight into the first team. I don't remember seeing. Does Pollersbeck leave here? No, he doesn't. So that was over Pollersbeck, by the way. My scouts never told me about him. They brought in this lad, a defender, looks decent. Manda Toure, who was a left winger. Again, if you had to play with wingers, you had to do that, and a right winger. So the new manager decided I'm playing with wingers. We'll have a look at players who left. So Aluch, who was a stalwart, particularly towards the end, left for Gijamp after 1 year. We did make a profit on him. Then moved to Nice, who again made a profit. Had a sort of so-so career, but after that, he had his 1 good year really with us, by the looks of it. In fact, if you look at his average rating, only once was he ever higher the reserves in a reserves game, which was a solitary game. So that was the best year of his career that we got. Remy Rene, he was a player who I really wanted to keep at the club. I felt he had a future. This is the first time I've looked at him though. He went to Juventus for free, despite me offering him a contract. Loaned out a couple of times. Did manage 11 games for Juventus before leaving for Gijamp for 3.2 million. But he's now worth 12 million, so it looks like a good buy for them. Stat-wise, looks sort of similar to Gary Finlayson. Just hadn't maybe developed going forward. Stanley Ease, I do want to have a look at him because I remember him as a guy who didn't look like he'd ever be able to finish, but what development he has had. He was golden boy. I mean, he was only, 16, 17 at the time he won that golden boy for us, and started breaking into the first team. Only played 13 times for Toulouse, scoring 4 goals. I think that'd probably be all under my time. He's played 10 times for Monaco since. Looks like he's ready to make that breakthrough now. Looks an absolute quality player, worth £25 million at 22 years old. 22 caps for Nigeria. Mokhtar, a player who I signed second season with Toulouse and then loaned out to Australia, and moved to Saint Etienne for £5 million, where he spent the rest of his career. 24 years old, Egyptian with 77 caps. Even for a smaller nation, and Egypt's not exactly a bad nation, they produce good football players. 77 caps is impressive by 24. Mossart, I don't think he ever developed into anything. He's at Saint Etienne now. After spending a number of loan spells away from Toulouse, coming back and then left for 2.1 million, and he's had 33 appearances for Saint Etienne. Did manage some game time for Toulouse after we left, but I did have some hopes for him. Lumor Abegniou was our third choice left wing back, who went out on loan. That last season, I think I signed him second season. Still he's decent. Playing for Zurich after leaving. We did make profit on him again, £2.8 million profit there, plus the loan fee. Brolilo away to Real Sociedad for £6.5 million, now at Real Betis. Looking pretty good, valued £21 million. I'd just like to say, I think this shows that my spotting, particularly at Toulouse, when I had a good scouting team, really, really worked. Jean-Louis was away. Jeremy Oliver was a player who my staff rated really, really highly. I didn't think he was ever going to amount to anything. Physically, he's pretty good. Leadership is good. He's captain material. In terms of that, teamwork's pretty decent as well. But he sort of looks like an average League One defender. You'd probably still got him a Toulouse team right enough, because we didn't have great defenders in that Toulouse team. but I still think I was right not to really push him. Luca Pellegrini, the Italian who I signed from Porto, 32 now, so his stats aren't great. He managed 5 Italy caps, of which I think most were when he played with me. We signed him for 8.5 million from Porto. He moved away to Monaco for 29 million, and he's had spells at Stoke and Napoli since. 300 appearances, 6 goals, 35 assists, 19 player of the matches. Again, didn't really have his best year with us. Maybe, no, I think Monaco probably got the best out of him. Gary, I actually not looked at him. I'm curious to how he developed. I was never sure on how he was going to develop. He went back to the Netherlands, had a lot of loan spells out, then went to New York, had average time, and went back to the Eredivisie where he's had a fairly average time. But it looks like he's finally been a number 1 now. Claudio Gomez went to Lyon and now at Troyes. Again, he was a stopgap sort of player who we signed from a team that got relegated. You can't really claim on that. Jimmy Roquette, a player who had such high hopes for, went to Man United for 1.9 million. It didn't develop that great, but I'd have thought they would have got more than 1.9 million out of him. Never got a game for Man United. Lots of loan spells out before moving back to France. If say moving to Man United maybe hindered his development a little bit. Hasebe, weighted betters as well, done okay. He was sort of loaned out, and that is not the Cook era that we want to be talking about. This guy was a guy who I got through the youth development through our partnership with, I can't remember who it was with, but it was a Czech team that we had a partnership with. Gonzalo Rodriguez went to Celtic of all people, and now he's at CSKA Moscow. Looks pretty decent, probably the best fullback that we've signed looking at so far stat wise now. 56 caps for Uruguay, 4 goals, worth 17.5 million. Only ever had 3.7 million worth of transfer fees, so we signed him for free, made a profit, and his contract obviously ran down at Celtic before going to Russia. A bit disappointed to see him. Fabrice Gerard, again another left back that was for the youth team when we were there. He's probably been better than Rene. Never had that big break to get to a big team though. 24 years old. Moved to Toulouse for 1.9 million. Again, maybe underselling a little bit. Had a couple of loan spells. Got a couple of games for Bordeaux. Although that's interesting, going directly across rivalry. And then at Nancy. And now, Adama Ndri is Adam. He went to Bayern Munich for 41 million, rising to 59 million. I signed him for, this was Adam, the midfielder, 575k. I triggered out a release clause on his contract, and he moved on for 59 million. It looks like that 59 million has been very much triggered stat wise. Hard to argue, he's probably one of my best signings of the series. 63 caps for the Ivory Coast now at 26, worth 68 million, and looks like a fairly regular sort of in and out sort of player for Bayern Munich. You can't say this guy's had a bad career. Didn't kick off till he got with us, but it looks like Bayern have taken him at another level. Rocha was our sort of third choice centre back. He looks pretty decent. He's at Man United now. When did he go to Man United? So he left for Porto for 7 million. I'd signed him for 700,000 from Braga. Has a couple of seasons there. Does pretty good. Goes to Marseille. Does okay. Gets a big move to Marseille. Marseille reserves in there for some reason, and then gets a huge move to Man United where it looks like he's been a sort of backup player. Again, doesn't look like a half bad signing. Hasebe, we mentioned before. Johan Bonnet, he's still at Toulouse. Looks pretty good. Never really developed though on loan at America, as he had lots of loan spells since I've left. So that was the season I've left, and he's had 2 games. Loan. I feel like me leaving Toulouse has cost this guy his career, because he is pretty good. He's worth £11 million. I'd bet he'd get a first team game and do fairly well. It's maybe never worked out for him. He wasn't a prolific goal scorer, which maybe goes against him. Stanley's we've covered. Zukic also went to Bayern and then Real Madrid. So I signed him for 3.6 million from Red Star Belgrade, where he'd already sort of set himself in the Serbian league. Has a few seasons with us before getting a £30 million move to Bayern. Maybe a bit part player there, difficult to tell. Maybe he's moved in January for that 30 million. And then doesn't get so many games. And then they sell him on to a loss to Real Madrid the following season, where it looks like he's been a fairly regular player. I'm going to call that one a win. 56 caps for Serbia. Stat-wise, looks pretty good. I am saying that Zukic was a win in terms of my signings. Rocha we've covered. Hasebe we've covered. Team De Bruyne, a free transfer for us. He looks pretty good. He's ended up at Real Madrid as well, via Copenhagen this time. So we signed him for free. I thought he had a loan at Amiens from Club Bruges. Done fairly well with us. Had that was the season that was our season, 25-26. Has a fairly average season the following season. Gets a £7 move to Copenhagen. Does average there. Gets his big move to Real Madrid for 24.5 million. For a free transfer, I'm calling that one. You know, stat wise, I'm calling him in the Ross McShane category. Maybe slightly better, but still very, very good. And for a free transfer, exceptional. Pollersbeck, how did he ever get on? He's 36 now. So he would have dropped out of the team. So this was our year, yeah. And then after that, he dropped out of the team and then moved back to Germany with Frankfurt for 1.5 million, where he's been first choice goalkeeper in a club that's been relegated during his time there. But you know, still, here's an emergency signing and not a choice. But he has, I don't recognise either of these three names at the bottom there. So we move on. Bonnet there again. Pierre David. He was another youth player that was there. The AI or my staff rated quite highly, that I never thought would kick on too much. He's ended up at Strasbourg, which is the only other team he's played for and been owned. But he looks like he was fairly right in my decisions with him. Stanley's covered. That's on Kukera again. Don't recognise them. Rabiot, big signing from PSG. Still looks pretty decent. Went to Shakhtar. Technically and mentally, he's quality still at 36. 32 caps for France. Physically, he's dropped off the cliff though, despite that 16 natural fitness. Of course, he was an experienced player we were signing rather than a player that we were bringing in and developing. Moira, did we have him? I don't know if I recognise that name. No, he was after us, so ignore him. Garnier was the goalkeeper that played the first sort of 6 months of my career at Toulouse because of various things. He went to Montpellier, where he spent his entire career playing 53 games. You know, not great. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look bad. Lucas Kukera, £5 million I signed him for. He's left for free, but it looks like his contract's ran out. That was actually the contract he had with me, so they've obviously never been able to give him a new contract after that. Stat wise, he's been at Barcelona, 59 games for Barcelona in 2 years, 23 goals, 17 dribbling, 19 finishing, 16 for free kick taken. You know, mentals out of the world. 52 caps, 19 goals for the Czech Republic, and that maybe highlights how good Mokhtar was to get 77 by 24 for Egypt, because this is a guy who is first team-ish at Barcelona, worth £55 million, 5.5 million. I would say, again, a big win for me on that signing. We'll continue down from Kukera. Is there anyone that we recognise left? And we'll click on again just to see quickly if there's anyone we recognise. Most of we've covered. Thierry Albert. Is he the guy who I basically kicked out the team? No, he's not. He's a guy that came through the youth team. Right. Ignore him then. Trying to see if there's anyone that I recognise. Stanley E's big money move to Monaco, as I said. Mentioned him before. Tsunami. Here we go. He looks pretty decent. Nowhere near the same level of decency as Kukera, but 160 games, 49 goals for Toulouse. This was the season we left. You know, had a few decent seasons before moving to Russia with Krasnodar. Decent profit there as well. How much did I sign him for? 1.3 million. So, you know, I signed players that made profit. Is there anyone in this team that was still there when we left? So, Diego Simeone, I wish my scouts recommended him, I really do. Weston McKenzie, now the captain if I remember correctly, still looks pretty decent. 32 years old, 142 caps. That's just unreal. And nobody else I recognise. That is going to end this 5 years into the future episode. Because of the way it's developed, these teams are no longer resemble anything like the teams that I had. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to do 10 years. And I'm not going to go back and see where I could have got. That's something that I'm probably interested in, not so much you guys are interested in. If you are interested, let me know in the comments down below. I know this was quite a long episode, but I just wanted to give you guys just, a little something to watch. That would maybe be interesting. I thought it was interesting, but if you don't, fair enough, I can accept that. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.